Everybody, hospitality friend Glenn here. Listen, we already know Actable gives you the power to profit, but now they're giving you more actionable insights to drive that profitability. Do me a favor, take a moment and check out hoteldata.com. You're getting set for budget season, right? And this new benchmarking data is going to help compare your hotel's performance for the rest of 2025 and into 2026. Please check out hoteldata.com or the classic actable.com. Have a great day and enjoy the show. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another No Vacancy Live. We got Anthony Melchiorri in the house today. I'm Glenn Hausman. Got a special show cooking for you, don't we, Anthony?
Uh, Cooking, and unfortunately, the rain in our area seems to be hurting our internet connection. So I apologize if we don't look perfect.
Yeah, well, that's going to be really tragic for all of us right now. But listen, rest assured, this is going to be a great show going on for you today because, Anthony, one of the things that I've noticed is two big things. Number one, casino gaming around the country seems to be taking off. People are spending more time there and even using the integrated resorts kind of for all different social experiences, right? Going out in the afternoon, taking the kids to the movies, whatever it might be. And restaurants are a fundamental part of that. Additionally, AI is kind of changing things, isn't it? And it's making it harder for certain career people to think about going forward, but it's also making it easier for recruitment, I would think. So I want to pull those things together.
Well, I think, first of all, if you're not learning AI right now and how to integrate it into your life, into your career, into your business, I don't care if you're a chef or if you're a CEO of a company. If you're not taking some kind of class or some kind of certification to understand the application of AI, it's not going to be like, oh, I don't know how to use my cell phone, or can somebody help me with an Excel spreadsheet? You're going to be so far left behind in 2 years that
Yeah,
you're not going to recognize your life anymore.
that
So
is true.
regardless of how you do it, you need to embrace it. And when people say, "Well, it's taking over the world," and I'm just going to sit this one out, at your own peril.
Yeah, if you checked out my coverage from the lodging conference over the last couple of weeks, you'll see we talk about that a lot. And hey, we talk about it as well. So it will be part of this conversation. But I want to talk about the humanity first. And to do that, we're going to bring in Todd Davis of Chef Agency. Todd, so great to see you. You are the person who is actually helping get people connected with people so they can serve great meals in restaurants with a specific emphasis in the casino sector. How are you, man?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, for sure. So, what is the chef situation going on right now in the hospitality industry and the casino market vertical in particular? Because generally speaking, you and I both know it's been harder than ever to just get anyone to fill positions, let alone it's got to be extra challenging when you're talking about real work in a hot and sweaty kitchen.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, we came out of COVID, we had a huge deficit of positions. We're still 100, 200,000 positions down across hospitality. Turnover continues to be a problem. We work mainly with the managerial level. I mean, not only is the hourly levels a disaster, but the manager level turnovers at 35%. Um, the vacancies can cost you so much. They cost you from a just a recruitment and retention standpoint, but beyond that, it really impacts the guest experience, and we're talking about not having somebody in those roles, then you've got, not only are you impacting your team and you're losing more people because you don't have enough staff or you have the wrong people in place, and so you lose staff because of that, but it so impacts the bottom line with your guest experience that it really is imperative that you find the right people. And you're absolutely right. I mean, it's just been so difficult to get the right people in place. And certainly that's true across casinos. Multiple venues are needed
Yeah.
for chefs. Steakhouse experience. Every casino seems to have a steakhouse that needs a
I
particular
think that's
chef.
mandated by law, Todd. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
yeah, honestly,
Let
and
Anthony
Todd,
jump in here because I know he's got a question. Yeah, Anthony?
I'm really glad you said disaster from an employee level,
yeah.
because it is a disaster. And not to go off on a tangent, but um, I there's two problems, right? One, you have for years and years, you saw the Food Network and you saw all these people making lots of money and having all this glamour. They went to culinary school and then they realized, oh crap, it's hot in the kitchen, literally. And it's hard work and it's low pay. And these people who didn't seem to work really hard on TV, the Bobby Flays and all those people, they worked their butts off. And they're culinary trained and they worked in hot kitchens all over the world for a long time for no money. And it's not an accident that they have a craft that they can sell. Number one. So they were disenchanted. So you saw a lot of culinary schools start going by the wayside because everything they saw on TV, it wasn't materializing in the kitchen. Number one. Number two, I think there's training issues that you expect to get into the kitchen and you expect them to work and you expect them to work 12 hours a day and you expect them to work really hard and you don't have a lot of training. And then when they are a line employee, you're not developing them for management. You're not developing them. And then when they are a manager, you're taking advantage of them and you're overworking them and you're abusing them and they're not making the right standards. So now you're docking their incentives. So I think that has got to be cleaned up before people start talking about there's not a lot of culinary talent out there. You've got to start cleaning up the environment. A lot of hotels, a lot of casinos, a lot of resorts do it very well. I'm not saying they don't, but that in particular, of all the employees, housekeeping and culinary are the two most difficult positions, not to fill, but to do. And when people start to understand that, and when people start to really empathize and really treat those employees, even not to treat them differently, but to treat them with more comfort, if you will, that it is a very difficult position to do, not to fill, to do. And then the reason it's hard to fill is because it's hard to do. So to me, before COVID, it was difficult to fill those positions. Now it's impossible. And as you're seeing, the rate of pay has gone up 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% across the country. And that hasn't made a bit of a difference because it's the environment you work in, it's the way you're treated, and it's the trajectory of your career that matters, not your hourly paycheck all the time. All right, that's my soapbox.
All right, thanks for joining us today on
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, because right there said that's not right.
No, you nailed it. Todd, take
Yeah,
it away.
I think nowadays it's different than it was 5 years ago, right, in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So the management team is needs to be softer, as you talked about, more empathetic. The candidates that I'm finding are looking for a better work-life balance, which has been like, "Wait a minute, you want work-life balance? You're in the hospitality industry." But they do, they want that work-life balance, they want growth opportunities,
20 hours
and
a
then
day in the kitchen, 4 hours
yeah,
at home.
Wait, hold on a second. Sorry, you misunderstood me. Like work-life balance doesn't exist, right? Sometimes you work really hard.
yeah,
I don't care if you work 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're being treated that your career's going somewhere, right?
yeah,
So I'm not really talking about that managers should be softer. What I'm talking about is the managers should be treated from the executive level with a level of respect that I don't see all the time.
okay,
So
yeah,
so the line level employees, they don't understand, they don't know what they don't know. So if the executive's being treated where they feel safe, right? Everybody stays because their boss has their back. So if their boss has their back, they will learn that this is an incredible career that you can make a lot of money and do great things for. And you can open your own businesses and you can do really, really well, like a lot of my friends have. But if that manager that's managing the kitchen isn't treated with respect and isn't feel safe, he can't make his employee feel safe. And I just see it time and time and time again throughout the industry. So, I get a little sick and tired of people say they don't want to work today. Well, I have perfect example. I have somebody close to me that's in the management program. And this person, he's being worked 12, 14 hours a day at the front desk when he was told he was going to be in the management program. And there's no management. So how long before this person leaves? So how do you, and I'm sure you hear that in your recruitment, is so how do we go from there? So AI is not taking jobs away. AI is helping support the jobs that are there. Because if you go to a front desk and say you're taking the job away, how can you take a job away that nobody wants, that is not existing? So the people that do want to do this job get support from AI. That's helpful. All right, I'm going to talk the rest of the show.
right, so Todd, let me. So, what are you seeing right now when it comes to this recruitment and being able to leverage the power of technology to connect you with great people who create winning meals in the kitchen or run restaurants? One of the things that I see, generally speaking, is people and people can't seem to get together. There seems to be a computer blockade with general hiring practices across all sectors. How are you not running into that problem, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, there's approximately post and pray doesn't work anymore for the business. It's got to be relationship building.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
there's 40% fewer applicants going on now than it was in 2020, and they're really looking for relationship headhunting, and that's where we come in.
Yeah.
We've got the relationships. Our speed is our moniker, but we can do the same thing at the property level if the property has the surf or the resources to do that. So, but not every property has a recruiting department
Right.
or something that they can build relationships with. And the managers, they have their networks, but that network might not be as robust as it needs to be in order to find talent. So, absolutely, the ability to build those relationships and find out exactly who could be a best fit for your role really comes to the people that do it best. And I think recruiting agencies can do that, but also it's imperative. And taking it out of my wheelhouse, but it's imperative that there are management programs that people can be brought up in and treated properly. To your point, Anthony, but also building the networks from across properties and across locations, across countries.
How are you using AI to identify the right candidate for the right job?
It's not so much, well, there's a number of AI platforms that are out there that allow you to connect with more people quickly. Whether that's across the LinkedIn platforms or the Granda platforms or the Chef Jobs platforms, things like that that allow you to connect quickly. They allow us to scrape and find emails quickly and phone numbers quickly. And what we do is, by far and away, we find that connecting with somebody from a text message standpoint or meeting them where they are and using that AI data that we can find that is the best way to do that. Um, Go ahead.
So let me ask you the $1,000,000 question
No.
that I've had concerns with in my own career with executive search firms. How do you get a candidate that is okay? And but how you guys work, you work on commissions and fees and retainers and all that stuff.
Yep.
And we're looking for a specific person, and this person is okay. And you put them up. How do you stop yourself from doing that? Like, how do you because your reputation is everything, right? So if you send me to
Absolutely.
somebody and 2 or 3 people and they're like, "Yeah, they're okay, but I'm not getting a superstar." How do you that must be the most difficult part of your job.
Absolutely. But you got to define in the beginning what a superstar looks like for them. So be
Flip a
people
coin.
this
Flip a coin.
Then do the then hire
and then do
opposite.
the um and really getting into the weeds of what they need. That's what we do. And being able to tailor that. And it's all you're right, it's all about reputation and the relationship you have with the property. And if I put somebody up that's just okay, there's a number of passes that we can go through to make sure that they don't make it very far in the process. But like there is poor talent out there that won't work, but
Mhm.
okay talent sometimes is the right thing. Sometimes somebody hasn't been given a chance. We've certainly seen that post COVID. What we might define as a okay person because they've taken a different path for a couple of years. Everybody's been taking a different path to kind of get on their feet post COVID.
Right.
So talent looks a little different now than it did, 5 years ago, 7 years ago.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I
That's
remember back in the day when I was coming up, if you worked at an airport hotel in New York, you were not making the list. And now a lot of people took those jobs to survive. And
Mhm.
just because you work at an airport hotel doesn't mean you're not an A-list general manager. And I think that that's kind of, I think that that's your point. Your point is
Yeah,
you can't always, right? You have to look at more, and there's so many talented people out there that because they work in limited service or they work in a certain brand, they're like, well, that person can't work at this brand. And I think that's, including me, I had to stop thinking that way.
And I think
absolutely.
that's where, Todd, the connection between AI and humanity comes in because the computers can't really read the nuances of what we were just discussing.
Absolutely, and we go deep with our candidates to find out, the reasons behind things
Yeah.
so that we can present that to our clients. And so it's all about the conversations and having, a deeper look at those candidates that may not have come from the traditional background or, I need somebody that's Michelin or Forbes 5-star. That that still exists out there. But as far as, like, other opportunities, there are absolutely other opportunities out there, and there's a lot of great people out there.
So how do you and help the people out there today that are looking for a job, that left the job or were asked to leave a job because their environment wasn't right for them and it was toxic. And some people I know say, "Well, I just tell my boss, like, it wasn't the right fit for me and the environment was toxic." I was like, "Oh, that could be a red flag." So how would you tell people to handle that?
So, be honest, um, but be measured in your response. It was an you can go into more detail about the toxic environment, but not do it in a way that's slanderous or, you know, um, egregious to the previous thing. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, and when we're presenting candidates, that happens all the time. So we've got candidates that are like, "Yeah, it just wasn't a fit for me, and I left, and I've been looking for the last 4 months, and I haven't found anything." Okay, great. Well, let's talk about that and allow me to present that to a potential client so that it's received in a positive light versus in a
Right.
necessary light versus, a negative light. We're not letting the clients make the determination in a bubble,
Yeah.
which is important.
Particularly now, since you said we're down 40% in terms of
Yeah.
people that are going into this direction. So you don't want to make any compromises, but if you have a smaller pool of people, then what are the people that are actually going to do the hiring thinking about this particular quandary?
Yeah, I think that we educate our clients as much as we possibly can about the market when we
Yeah.
do an intake with them.
They've got to be
Uh,
aware.
they've gotta be aware of what and
There's no,
really
I mean, they're not living in a bubble. They probably are already know. They're probably already know that. Then you share some more.
yeah, we share some more and we help educate them. There's still some properties that won't get out of the bubble, that insist on being in the bubble, and
Right.
they don't have a good, knowledge of what the talent base looks like or what it takes to get the talent. That's the
Yeah.
other piece. Running them
Right.
through millions of interviews, running them through a 10-course tasting across 20 people. Um, I've had clients that do that, and we've gotta be able to provide them with the counseling and knowledge that says, "Hey, if you want to fill this position and get out of this deficit that you're losing money and you're losing people and things like that, this is how you need to look at it." And sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't, and the ones that are successful are the ones that can do speed and cash, and that's the name of the game.
I got to.
It's interesting to me. It's fascinating to me where I see people, they're looking for a person and I go on their website and I'm like, you have people applying and you're not reacting. And well, no, no, we had an interview with them and we set them up with another interview. They're going to talk to them Tuesday. Tuesday, like it's like, my friends that are dating, they go on these apps and at the table, if it's not working out, they're trying to set up another date that night. Same thing with interviewing. It's like, if I'm waiting Tuesday, what do you think I'm doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
Mhm.
I'm looking for other opportunities. So to me, when you have somebody, even before all this stuff was happening, COVID and AI and all that, when I had a candidate, I offered them a job almost instantly. I remember when I got my first GM job, within 24 hours, I had the offer. And if they didn't give it to me, I might have gone somewhere else because there were 2 or 3 other table other so it fascinates me that these people who are desperate for positions are putting so much bureaucracy in between them and the candidate that they don't understand why people don't call them back. Well, guess what? If they're the talented person, you can't treat them like they used to, like they need you. You need them more than they need you because there's so many other
Exactly.
opportunities.
Absolutely, and I see it day in and day out. They make offers to candidates. It's 2, 3 weeks down the road. "Oh, we've just got one more candidate to interview," and things like that, or, "We've got an internal," or something like that. Boom, they're gone. They're finding something else. True story, I had an intake on Friday. I've got people interviewing this morning for the role.
Wow,
So,
great.
that's how quick you've gotta move, and then on the
But so
client.
they knew we're recording this on a Monday morning and it's only 7:30 his time. So
So,
he's got it together. Yeah.
you know what's interesting about that? I think what happens is, well, I work in ops and then human resources has a regional that they have to go through. So it's just a matter of, well, that regional is busy, that human resource is busy. So what looks like pretty efficient, which is within a week, is used to be efficient. Now you're in the Stone Age.
Well, and the other thing too is people need to be empowered to make decisions.
Yeah.
You know,
In
they're
this day and
just
age.
yeah, I mean, they're just not, right? It's like, "Oh, I can't sign off on that. I need 10 people to do that."
I say this every single day. When I was a GM, I was given the car and the steering wheel. Okay. And I was able to turn the steering wheel. The car was owned by somebody else, but I can turn the steering wheel, right? Today, you put your hands on the steering wheel, it's like, okay, make a left. No, too quick. Make a right. Too quick. It's like they give you the car and the steering wheel, but you can't move it. You can't touch it. You can't put it in drive. And so the bureaucracy and everybody covering their own ass is out of control because a lot of these hotels are owned by institutional money and they have an asset manager. I may get fired off this podcast after today. And the institutional money is controlling everything, which again, there are institutional uh, funds out there that are amazing. I work for some. I'm very good friends with people that run them. But then there are people, there are a lot of, and then independent owners who don't understand the business, which I think is less and less because I think if you're in the hotel business today, it's so expensive. You basically understand the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Todd, I'm curious. You are working mostly in the casino vertical with a real emphasis on Native American gaming. A lot of Native American gaming properties, while have a lot of different restaurants because they're super large, typically in nature, they're not necessarily located in major urban centers. We're talking tertiary markets. We're talking secondary markets. We're talking you got to drive a while to get home at night, probably. How does that affect your recruiting? And once maybe you recruit someone, does it actually make people more loyal because they got a deeper sense of community? Is there how does all of that kind of play into what you're thinking?
You're absolutely right. The good news is that, Native American gaming is making money.
Oh,
So
and let me just do 5 seconds on that.
yeah,
Everyone's been hearing about how bad the Las Vegas Strip is doing. All around the country, every jurisdiction is up, up, up. It's going great. People aren't going to Vegas as much as they are to these places, which is increasing the need for guys like you because more meals are being served.
But also, when you talk about Vegas, Vegas has been at 98% for the last X amount of years. So if they go down to 93%, everybody paddles.
And they're at 85 now. So, Todd, go on.
They're
so yeah,
95, you said, or 85?
85 in a lot of places. It's getting really bad. Yeah. Todd, please
so
continue.
yeah, you guys were talking about, the remoteness of it, right? So we've got remote positions, specific specific excuse me.
Yep.
You get choked up about the subject.
Well,
I
I get choked up knowing when we're gonna be together on air, so it's the same thing. Todd, please continue.
Yeah, they've got, it is remote location, so you gotta find the right people for that. People that wanna be in a more remote location. So, that's the search is a little tougher. And the important thing is from a recruiting perspective, you're not only selling the location, the team, the opportunity, but you're selling, that location for relocation. And relocation's kind of tough nowadays.
Yeah.
They're not offering as much as they used to,
Yeah.
and they're not offer and with the cost of relocating, and buying a new home,
Oh,
it's really hard.
that is true. Like 5 years ago, I think it was actually 3 years ago, I refied my mortgage at like
Yeah.
2.2 or something ridiculous like that. Now it's more than three times as much for a lot of people. That really will factor into that decision. Didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
Eh,
it's really hard. It's like, well, I'm open to a new opportunity, but I can't move. Um, and so no, I gotta be in Richmond, Virginia or something like that. And the luck that we're having, or and I think you make your own luck, but the skill that we're
yeah,
having in filling these positions in the more remote locations is finding those that where a remote location, they don't want to be in a big city anymore. They don't want they love the role, but they don't want to be in the hustle and bustle when it comes outside of work.
yeah,
So the nature enthusiasts, the outdoorsmen, things like that, the ones that work in the upper West. There's plenty of opportunities in Wyoming and Montana and Idaho
yeah.
for great chefs that are not in the hustle and bustle of, the Vegases and the Phoenixes and the LAs and the New Yorks.
Are you finding I have a friend that was in the Navy and, he got out and he's now making he works at one of the fanciest golf resorts in the world. He's the executive chef, and he makes a lot of money. I'll just say, um, uh, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he was a Navy chef. So do you find people in the military at all filling some of these jobs?
Absolutely. Maybe there's a bridge there. So maybe they go from the Navy to a different opportunity where they're fine tuning their chefing skills, and then they progress into a golf club role. Golf club traditionally pays very well,
Mhm.
so it just depends on the golf club you're at. But yeah, absolutely. The military provides a great chefing hospitality
Yeah,
position.
and those are the people that, stick to it.
Yeah,
They will
absolutely.
understand pressure, they understand
They don't
leadership,
mind the
they
grind.
understand
Yeah.
right, and they're talented. Like, don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on military chefs. They're talented.
Hey,
I have another friend, one of my dearest friends in the world. She works in or she has her own company called Supernatural, and she makes soups and sauces in Portland, and she's been very successful. And she's an amazing chef. And again, she came out of the Navy or the Air Force, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you bring up an interesting point about private chefing and people that own their own companies. There's so much opportunity out there for people to do that. We come across those folks all the time. We have a sister agency, the estate agency that places private chefs. But I we run across that all the time. The challenge is if somebody's been a private chef for their whole career,
different.
it's hard. Yeah, it's a different animal to bring them into a casino or any kind of big operation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glenn, when you hire your private chef, do you find that as a problem?
It's a real problem. I mean, he's like, I already got all my hours at McDonald's set. I can't come and cook for you. Can't come over there. And by the way, I started out at Wendy's making fries and moving on to the takeout grill. So, we've all been there. Uh, Todd, I'm curious before we wrap up, say you're a chef and you want to get involved. What are certain things they could do to get on your radar, on someone else's, a recruiter's radar, and just move their career to that next level?
Research, research, research. So research where the properties are that you want to work at,
Mhm.
connect with them internally, work with as many recruiters as you can. And I'm just being honest. It would be easy to say, "Hey, just call me," but work with as many recruiters as you can. Update your information, your public profile, whether that's your Instagram. If you don't have an Instagram, get one. Put your food out there. Um, your
Wow.
link, your
So
LinkedIn
it's like a
profile.
portfolio kind of scenario.
Portfolios speak volumes for chefs. and we present those portfolios with our clients.
Hmm.
Um, so absolutely do that. And then, we make ourselves very easy to find. So you can find me you can call me on the phone, you can text me on the phone and just reach out and start your networking.
When
Are
was
you
the last time somebody got your attention that was unique? That like, could you would get a lot of requests. When was the last time somebody sent you something, wrote you a handwritten note, or did something unique to get on your radar, and you're like, okay, I got to pay attention.
Usually it comes via text message and portfolio.
Mhm.
Um,
Do people follow up and send you a handwritten note, or do they?
no, not so much. It really does.
Say somehow somebody found out where to send you a handwritten note, and they sent you a handwritten note. Would you fall off your chair?
Yeah, I would. I've been in recruiting for 25 years. The last handwritten note I got was probably like 2004. So,
But if they did that, you would probably pay attention.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Todd, I got one more question for you about making yourself more visible. You mentioned Instagram. Does LinkedIn matter in this arena?
Absolutely. LinkedIn, huge platform.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You should make sure that that's updated. You should update it often. And you should invest in the time to do it, whether you're doing it yourself or whether you're getting a consultant to help you with it. When we're presenting candidates, if we don't present their LinkedIn profile, the candidate or the clients are absolutely looking at the people up,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
and
The first thing I
there's
do.
a
The
Yeah.
first thing I do.
yeah, looking at their LinkedIn, looking at their socials, and finding out, the other stuff that we might not be presenting to them.
Fantastic. Anthony, got anything else for Todd?
It's a pleasure.
Todd, how can we find you at the Chef Agency?
I'm available. If you look at my LinkedIn profile, my contact info, you got my email, td@thechefAgency.com, and my
Yeah.
phone number is there as well for calling and texting.
All right. Thanks, Todd. Really appreciate you being here. And listen, guys, really
Thank
appreciate
you.
all of you being here. What did you learn today, Anthony?
I learned that I'm trying to link up with him on LinkedIn.
All right. Well, we'll get him back on as soon as we go off air. We'll be here. And
Oh, no, you know what I learned? This is what I learned.
what'd you learn?
That change is inevitable, and the
Yeah.
only thing that is consistent is change. And, I've always come a little bit late to technology, but when I get to technology, I embrace it.
Yeah.
And today, if you're not having an Instagram, you're not having a LinkedIn, you're not having a social network, and you're not upgrading those things, and you're not paying attention,
Yeah.
you're introverted and you don't want to be out there. You just want to be in the kitchen. I understand that. Then pay somebody to do that for you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Good idea. And listen, I'm a little behind in this technology stuff. I'm hearing MySpace is pretty good. I think I should get on that.
MySpace is the future.
If you want to be alone. But one thing I can tell you
Hey,
is
bell bombs always come back, so MySpace may come back.
that's true. I'm hoping ding dongs make a big comeback myself. All right, everybody. Subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your shows, all that kind of good stuff. Follow us on LinkedIn and all those other places too. And remember, everybody, yep.
I'm surprised at you that you said ding dongs have to make a comeback. There's two right here. They made a comeback.
That's a really good point. Hey, no better way to leave that. Remember, everybody, you've got one life's ablaze on, and
Be kind to yourself.
see y'all later. Bye bye.